Okay, so we have to dive into this whole chaotic situation in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's really been the headline story of the season, hasn't it?
It really has. All
Yeah.
this organizational anxiety around Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Coach Stefanski. I mean, our mission today is pretty straightforward, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just want to cut through the noise and figure out if this is, intentional sabotage or just systemic financial chaos.
And that sabotage narrative has been loud.
So loud. And it's pushed by some really prominent national voices. They're focusing so heavily on Stefanski's decision making.
Right, they always point to that Week 14 Titans game.
Exactly, that loss. Stefanski benches Sanders for these questionable specialty plays on critical two-point conversions. I mean, it looked like he was actively taking the ball out of his best player's hands.
But what's so fascinating is that the guy at the center of it all, Sanders, he just refused to play along.
Yeah, he wouldn't take the bait.
Not at all. He kept pushing back at reporters saying they were just trying to start trouble. And that, to me, signals that the real friction here isn't personal.
It's not a vendetta.
No.
Okay.
It's this organizational anxiety that's just bubbling up because they have two assets that fundamentally contradict each other.
And that contradiction, it really starts with the money, with the wallet.
It always does.
When I saw the numbers, I was floored. Sanders, who was this huge college star, somehow falls to the fifth round,
An incredible slide.
which makes him an absolute cheat code on the cap sheet. He takes up, what, less than 0.5% of their total salary cap? It's wild.
It's unbelievable flexibility, especially for a guy who was the most searched athlete in the U.S. this year. He has this massive profile, but a tiny contract.
He's the definition of strategic good fortune.
He is. But now you have to connect that to the immovable object on the other side of the room.
Deshaun Watson.
And Deshaun Watson and that fully guaranteed contract. Look, the one number that handcuffs this entire franchise is that projected 2026 cap hit.
It's just a staggering number.
It's $80.7 million. And you have to understand, that's not just salary. If they try to release or trade him before 2027, almost all of that is dead money.
So they literally can't move him.
They can't. Not without completely crippling the franchise for years.
So that one number, 80.7 million, it basically rigs the whole game, doesn't it?
It does.
Any talk of a real open QB competition in 2026 it's just talk. The cap sheet has already decided who has to be on the team.
It's already decided, which means they're at a strategic crossroads. They only have two viable paths forward.
Okay.
They have to decide, and decide now, is Sanders their long-term starter? That's scenario A. Or is he maximum trade leverage, which is scenario B?
And if they go with scenario A, if they commit to Sanders,
Then they have to be disciplined. They have to resist the temptation to draft a blue-chip quarterback with their high 2026 pick, which is probably going to be around pick number 4.
So instead of grabbing that prototypical franchise QB, they use that top 5 pick to, what, build the walls higher around Sanders?
Precisely. You capitalize on his cheap contract. You use that premium draft pick to get him an elite offensive tackle or a true game-changing receiver. You leverage that cap flexibility to build an infrastructure.
And it really feels like we saw them make that pivot officially when Stefanski named Sanders the starter for the rest of the season.
That was it. That formalized the showcase.
So for you listening, what you're watching for the rest of 2025 isn't just about winning games.
No, it's a high-stakes audition.
Right. They're either confirming he's the future or they're pumping up his value to get the biggest possible trade package and recoup those assets they lost in the Watson deal.
And that's why the whole sabotage idea just kind of falls apart under scrutiny. It's much simpler. It's a classic case of financial necessity colliding with a stroke of good fortune.
The contract cornered them, and his great play gave him an exit.
Exactly. But since we know that financial necessity dictates Watson returns for 2026, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What if the Browns draft a new quarterback anyway with that high first-rounder?
Oh.
So now you have 3 guys in that room. Watson and his $80 million cap hit, Sanders, the developing asset you've invested in, and a shiny new first-round rookie.
That's a mess.
I mean, can you imagine the kind of unprecedented organizational congestion and internal friction that creates at the most important position in football? That's a problem.